Hey. Yeah, I know. I've been missing for a while. I'll just cut to the chase and tell you what you can expect from this video. Truth is, since I haven't uploaded in like 4 months now, I decided to make a video giving you guys an update of what I've been up to. I guess I do have to start with the fact that I got kind of burnt out making content for Monster Hunter, but there's also other things that I've seen or done that I just want to share with you guys. You should probably look at the screen now because I'm showing all the games I played. For example, and in no particular order, I got back into Dota, as you can notice thanks to my Dota x Monster Hunter crossover video. I played No Rest for the Wicked with some friends, which I always love me some multiplayer RPGs. Since Metroidvania and pixel art are some of my favorite things to have together, I played Souldiers, and soon after I played 9 Souls, which might have made me astrally transcend, even if only for a moment. Then, as if that was not enough, I played Sanabi, which might just be one of my top 2 favorite platformers ever. And also, my life is now changed thanks to it. This is not hyperbole. I also played V Rising and became a fully fleshed cunt. Yes, that is cunt, not count. More on that later. Lastly, I got into Warcraft 3, and I've been sucking so much at it. It was this guy's fault.
Dopamine.
On top of that, I had to basically go full-time again on my job, as doing YouTube so intensely last year and getting a new PC were both decisions that were a little irresponsible, so I'm trying to financially recover from that and failing. So yeah, let's start with why and how I got burnt out. I think that making content for one particular game, especially when it is not a live service game, is always difficult, since you eventually run out of content that you can play and talk about. Not only that, but as we all know, it has been a little bit more silly and a little bit more exhausting to cover Monster Hunter lately, because Wilds didn't have the greatest start. I'm not gonna lie when I say that I'm still kinda bitter about it, mostly with Capcom, because, like, I told you, bro, I told you. Capcom really wanted that AI bubble buzzy. They were the first in line to let Nvidia try their DLSS 5 bullshit on the new Resident Evil. So, I can't say that as a company they have been making the best decisions as of late. But I still have some faith in the developers of the game, and I really hope that they can make a comeback with the expansion. Now, I will admit that Capcom is not the only one to blame for this. There's also the community. When I first started playing Monster Hunter and getting into the community, I was absolutely sure that I had found the best community in all of gaming. Nowhere else would you find people that were so welcoming and so willing to help you through the esoteric experience that is Monster Hunter. My best memory of an interaction I had with somebody from the community was when I was playing on my laptop, waiting for my food inside the store of a gas station, and the guy who brought me my food asked me what game was I playing. And when I said Monster Hunter, he was incapable of holding back his excitement. He even showed me clips of a Great Sword Teostra speedrun that he had on his phone. This, however, was like 7 years ago. Today, it feels almost impossible to have a level-headed discussion where you can talk about the good, the bad, make some criticism, give some praise, and go home. Because nobody cares about that shit. People want to either be extremely angry or extremely obsessed with their game. No in between. What's even weirder is that if you got into the game and talked to a few people playing, pretty much everybody still wants to help newcomers get into Monster Hunter in general. But everything outside of that bubble is almost like people are trying to play geopolitics on social media about fucking Monster Hunter. In contrast, the Hunter Awards happened recently and it really felt like a 7th seal arcane spell that cleansed the negativity and the outrage that surrounded the community last year. And now, like, everybody's just enjoying Stories 3, which is great. But yeah, I mean, by the end of the year I was like running out of gas, man. I do think the speedrun documentary, the Monster Hunter tier list, and the Dota x Monster Hunter videos were like some of my favorite videos to make. But after that, like, I've been having the stupidest, most obnoxious writer's block, and I'm only making this video now to, like, make something. Now obviously, there's more real reasons as to why I haven't uploaded, like going back to full-time on my job. I do freelance, so if I'm not constantly pushing and looking for new opportunities, things can go sideways rather quickly. And the problem with this is that using my mind to mostly work really drains my creativity. And it sucks because I still want to make the Nada video, I still want to make a review of Wilds, and all I have is a bunch of random assets and loosely written scripts. So yeah. I will say that my biggest highlight of last year was that I got a nomination for the Hunters Awards, which made me super happy. And when I saw that a bunch of people were saying my name on the chat, like, "Soon! Let's go, Soon!" when I appeared as a nominee, I got genuinely teary-eyed. I can never quite express how much I appreciate you guys' support. I can't really complain about how much the channel has grown, and with that, it made last year just incredible in terms of content creation. Also, thank you, Meatman. You know why. While I didn't get the Rising Star Award, Sani did, which was absolutely deserved, and I'm super happy that he's getting this recognition. I think it was a long time due. Moving on to more positive or at least lighthearted stuff, No Rest for the Wicked had a bit of a pop-off lately, especially since they incorporated 4-player online co-op. They managed to sell up to 1.5 million copies, and this is kind of a big deal because the game had a rather rough start, especially since it was announced with the dreaded early access and all the scrutiny that a game can have under that title. But today, the game has seen such a massive expansion in content and improvement of both progression systems and the mechanics that it is hard to believe it is the same game that I played on release. This is basically a Diablo meets Dark Souls kind of game, where dodging and parrying are very important elements of combat, but your progression is greatly benefited by doing quests, going around the map, exploring, farming materials, getting treasure chests, and then using those resources to craft gear. And also there's this really cool feature where you can repair and improve the structures and services around the main city hub, which in turn can help you increase your power even more. You can even buy a house in this thing and share it with the other players from the multiplayer session, which... what a wild dream buying a house has become in real life. Overall, No Rest for the Wicked is becoming an incredible game, and I'm happy to see it having more success lately. I think it always had a lot of potential, especially with the art direction that they have, because it is breathtaking. Recently, they even posted a video with the first patch update that they're going to add to the game, where apparently PvP is going to be included on this. So I'm really looking forward to that one. Anyways, if you're looking for a game to keep you and your friends busy and entertained for a while, this is the one right here. As an avid fan of Metroidvanias, how could I not play Souldiers? Gorgeous pixel art with 3 classes to choose from and RPG elements to increase your power. This was basically my warm-up to then play 9 Souls and Sanabi. I had these games on my wishlist for a while now, but only managed to get them because they all got like a 70% discount on Steam. While Souldiers was just good fun, 9 Souls rocked my shit. Dynamic and flashy combat, beautiful sound design, and an art style that could easily become the study material of future artists and designers. 9 Souls as a game is just flawlessly executed in a genre that has been tried and tested many times in the past, and still it managed to remain fresh and creative with its gameplay elements and game design. But as you play, the story unfolds in astonishingly beautiful comic panels, of which pretty much any of them could become the sickest poster. The story of 9 Souls is basically this: what would happen if an extremely much more advanced civilization of catfolk decided to use us humans as cattle? Now granted, they are doing this because they are trying to save themselves from a very deadly virus that is threatening to erase their entire species. This is like the alternate timeline where the Palicos realized what a bad deal it is to work for us humans and rebelled, went their own way, built a civilization only to come back and enslave us. But then, one of them is not okay with all of this, and because he dared suggest that the catfolk should try another way, he is betrayed by everyone he held dear. So now, of course, there is only one way this will end: revenge. It boggles my mind to see that this game didn't have more recognition and more presence in the Game Awards of 2024, because the Taopunk world of 9 Souls is redefining the possibilities of storytelling in a genre that is seldom expected to have this level of depth and poignancy. Speaking of revenge stories, what would you do if you were a war veteran that is only seeking peace after retirement, but you were so good at what you did that sadly, peace is not an option that you can have because you made so many enemies that can hit you where it hurts you the most? I, personally, would be pissed. And so is the main character from the game Sanabi. The world of Sanabi is the ultimate techno-feudal capitalist hellscape. All of humanity is at the mercy of a few elite groups and their military-industrial complexes. War has ravaged the earth, but that hasn't stopped people from continuing to wage it. In this shitstorm of corruption and dystopian nightmares, you return as a soldier for one last round. But you are not just an ordinary soldier, you are the fucking best at what you do. The literal John Wick of this universe, but instead of using guns, you use the deadly cyborg grappling hook / claw. Somebody really saw Samus accurately using the grappling beam and said, "Make it go fast." The momentum, the inertia control, the precision and the speed become a constant craving while playing this game, because goddamn, it is a masterclass in level design. You don't even have to speedrun this game, but it will make you feel like you're doing so anyways. The controls are unfathomably tight and feel so responsive. It really makes for such a great experience. So yeah, another revenge story that takes the wildest turn into the impact and consequences of artificial intelligence. When I say this game changed me, I mean it. I am, in general, quite against AI. Well, not so much against the technology itself, but mostly against the applications that most of these tech bros from Silicon Valley are deciding to use it for. You see, I had not one, but two career paths completely destabilized by AI. Translation, and more recently voice acting. Translation was one of the first jobs to start losing ground to AI, since these are language models. They first started to, well, learn a lot of languages. So I basically got out of university, COVID hit, and then AI started creeping in. I never really got to work as a translator that much, which is why I moved on to become an English teacher, and lately, I've been trying my hand at voice acting here in my country. But yeah, it's not looking good either. Even though I have gotten a couple of gigs here and there, they are few and far between. So I think my disdain for AI is kind of justified. But then, it also has made me start to really think about the value of humankind, because I think as a species, we've been constantly pushing for a lifestyle that basically wants to change and completely remove the idea that there is intrinsic value in human life, or any life for that matter. And we've gotten fixed on the idea that life is only worth the extrinsic value of our ability to produce something, a product, a service, a craft. And now, after AI, it seems like the narrative is mutating again to you're not only worth the value of what you produce, you now can only have value if you can produce things that are of a higher standard than the collective aberration that is the entirety of humanity's creativity that has been funneled into AI models. I get that this has been a very heavy tangent, and I'm only slightly sorry for that, but this is the type of thing that Sanabi got me thinking about after I finished the game, and also it kind of fortified my belief in the concept of the indomitable human spirit. Even when all you have around you is made of machines, your humanity can transcend that. Sanabi is a beautiful game, and I wish more people played it. I don't think it has even sold over 1 million copies, and it's like a $12 game, it's crazy. I got it for like $4. I've been playing some Dota. I actually got all the items that I wanted from the Dota X Monster Hunter crossover, which, as you can see on my crossover video, had me very excited. Basically, the Dragon Piercer, or if it's gonna have the Dragon Piercer animation. If it does, that would be such a cool detail, man. Let's see here. Yes! My Wind Ranger is looking so good with the combination of the Arcana set plus the Xenogre armor. I've been trying to learn how to play the hero Magnus, which, for my non-Dota player viewers, this is what you have to know about him. Like in any MOBA, different characters have different abilities to fight the enemy team. Magnus has the ability to pull every hero around a small area towards him, stunning them in the process. He also has the ability to trample and push people around, which means that you can basically gather every enemy hero around you and then take them to your team in a silver platter. Like a kid that is angry because nobody used to go to his birthday parties, but now he has made some friends that he can just drag to his house. In the end, Dota is all about skill expression, and the amount of heroes and playstyles that you can find in this ever-changing game always gives me something new to explore, even after all these years. Also, I look fucking sick. Absolum! There's no much to say about this game. In fact, it is just easier if I show you some gameplay because it is simple and yet extremely fun. The art direction obviously is probably its strongest suit, but the gameplay does not lack in any regard. The cool thing about beat 'em ups is that you can basically experience what it is like to play a fighting game but without the tremendous amount of learning and the huge barrier of entry that you find in actual fighting games. Things like clashes, blocks, dodges, and frame priority are all things that are present in Absolum. And as you start to learn the attack moves from the different enemies, you start to learn how to punish them and create new openings thanks to the game's mechanics. It's also really cool that it has roguelike elements. They can really mix up your expectations. Great game. For some reason, I got the urge to play the Starcraft II and Warcraft III campaigns. I was feeling nostalgic for the golden era of Blizzard. You guys know I played a lot of World of Warcraft back in the day. Today is just a constant disappointment with that company. That said, since these games were made when they were still actually the GOATs, the story campaigns are incredibly good and hold up quite well in today's standards. Especially the Starcraft II campaigns, which had a lot more going on for their characters and their features. But since I played so much of these games, all the different algorithms spying on me, like is usual in this day and age, picked up on that and started just throwing videos from this guy on my feed. Grubby is not only a Warcraft 3 content creator, he is a many times world champion of competitive Warcraft 3. And something about his videos, man, I don't know why, but it got me hurting for some RTS PvP. The thing is, if you took a unicellular amoeba that somehow was born a cripple and had Parkinson's, they could play this game better than I do. RTSs are very complicated games, Warcraft 3 even more so. It is the original DNA from which Dota, League of Legends, and eventually Dota 2 came from. Basically, imagine that you have your hero that you control to fight the enemy. But whereas in Dota or League, the units are produced automatically and sent to the enemy, here you have to build the base, you have to train the units and then control them. And that is not all. Some of these units have almost the same amounts of skills that a hero unit has. That means you sometimes have to micromanage the actions of what is basically your minions. And they can be extremely powerful too, so it is important to know how to use them. I don't know what it is about Warcraft, but I've been having so much fun with it, despite the fact that I've been getting destroyed. Sometimes in the most toxic ways too, which is hard to bounce back from. I think what I like about Warcraft 3 is that I just like learning. And there's so many interesting interactions to learn from this game. Even when I get destroyed by the most outlandish tactics, it is still fascinating to me that people have come up with this many ways to play this game. Definitely a really difficult game to get into, not accessible at all, and with the piss-poor support that Blizzard gives it. But even when RTSs are becoming increasingly less popular, I've been having a blast with this game lately. Yeah, it is a 20-year-old game. I know I have Unk status by now. So, have you ever, killed your neighbors? V-Rising is a game that can be poorly described as Rust with vampires. You start the game as this animal that has nothing going on for it, and you go into the wilderness to gather materials from the land, but also, quite importantly, from other living beings. As your power grows, you're able to build your own vampire castle, and then in true vampire fashion, stab your neighbors in the back, siege their castle, and take everything from them. The PvP in V-Rising is just intoxicating to play. You have this third-person perspective and your skills and spells work a little bit like in Smite. You have skill shots and gap closers. You even have pairing skills, but I never used those. I wanted to play as a full glass cannon sorceress, and so I did. Not only that, but my group and I completely destroyed the entire server in one weekend. V-Rising is one of those games that doesn't have a lot of complexity, but the complexity that it does have allows you to truly flesh out your build and your playstyle. For example, here are my character stats that have all the spell stats cranked up to 11. I literally could not put more spell damage even if I wanted to. The game wouldn't let me. And because there's no peace between vampires, especially after Dracula was defeated, and that created a huge power vacuum in the World of Darkness, I am instinctively inclined to pay a very friendly visit to my neighbors. So, my friends and I raided every big castle in the server. The people in it caught wind of it, and literally started pooping their pants. Like, to give you an idea, right? This game has like 5 legendary items that can only be held by one person at a time. And there can be no duplicates. After sieging a castle and taking everything they had, we moved on to the next one. The first thing that these people did when we got there and started summoning the siege golem was to jump down and drop the legendary item at the entrance of their castle. Literal dog showing the belly behavior. It was crazy, man. So yeah, after we just left the server, our castle got raided and pretty much increased the economy of every person on that server exponentially. So this brings us to the end of the video. I hope this was somehow helpful in any way, at least to let you know what happened with me. But yeah, I want to keep making videos, but I'm not sure if I'll be able to have the same output as last year. I do want to say this again, I'm really thankful for all the support that you guys gave me last year. Sometimes it is kind of surreal. I will always love Monster Hunter, man. I don't think I'll get tired of it anytime soon. But I do think it's time to move on to other things with this channel. Because as you can see, I really fucking love video games. You know, the ones that joined because of Monster Hunter, I'm sorry if my content disappoints you moving forward, but I will still thank you at the end of the day, because you were part of the journey. This doesn't mean that I will never do Monster Hunter content again. It just will happen less. If you're still watching, goddamn man, you're a real one. So yeah, as always, my name is Sun, and until next time.